Hello everyone. First of all, I extend my greetings to all the esteemed researchers, entrepreneurs, leaders who are joining this esteemed gathering organized by Rizal Foundation India, and this time it's in Dubai. And I hope you are all having a great time so far. I also want to extend my grateful thanks to Dr. Preeti Tagre, who invited me as a speaker. This is my third conference in a row with Rizal, and I can't imagine a better partnership like this. To introduce myself, my name is Kapil Jain. I work in the research and development wing of Reckitt, a leading FMCG and healthcare company based in UK. I carry over 12 years of experience in research and development, covering all sorts of product categories from home hygiene, personal care, health, and medicines. And today I'm going to delve ourselves into a world of sustainability with a topic called Embracing Sustainability, where we will be talking about the intricacies of the efforts made by all the leading companies for achieving the sustainability goals, the hurdles they are facing, and some of the solution for that. So let us get going. Before we get going, let's first see what sustainability is. UN defines sustainability as meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. In the recent years, we have seen a growing global awareness and urgency around the pressing issues of the climate change. From COP26 summit in 2021, where all the leaders came together to reiterate the critical need for the immediate actions, to the ambitious sustainable development goals set forth by the United Nations, there is a widespread recognition that the protecting our planet and doing sustainability for having a secured future is one of the defining challenges of our time. Sustainable development goals, they are set of 17 goals, 169 targets, and over 250 indicators. After setting up these goals, they are launched in around 193 countries, and there are more than 10,000 companies and investors who are committing more than 4 trillion US dollars towards these goals. What are these sustainable development goals? Basically, these goals provides a shared blueprint for achieving a better and sustainable future for all by the year 2030. These goals addresses the major challenges facing by our world, ranging from poverty, hunger to education, health, gender equality, clean water, affordable energy, climate actions, and many more. If taken seriously and if it goes well, it is supposed to generate more than 12 trillion worth of economy and more than 380 millions of jobs. It seems granted that these goals are inevitable for organizations to navigate this new landscape. But there are a very compelling reasons for these companies to actively engage with these goals and contributes. So let us see what are these compelling reasons and why these goals are really matters to any organization. The first is from the reputational standpoint. The consumers, NGOs, investors, they are increasingly favors the companies that demonstrate real commitment to the sustainability. And those companies who fails to act, they may face a huge backlash and also may lose the market equity. From the operational point of view, uh, basically the depletion of the natural resources like water, forests, and the minerals, they are directly threatening the supply chain and the long-term viability of these business. Regulatory risk, this also poses a major risk as all the government all around the world, they are laying down new emission standards, disposal rules, and also the sustainability reporting mandates. And this is very crucial for these enterprises to stay ahead of this curve to maintain the compliances and license to operate. Another key reason is about capturing the market. So the companies who are really committed, quick and agile to adopt these sustainability initiatives and demonstrate to the consumer, they are really fast in capturing these always evolving market, also and attracting the Gen Z millennials as a consumer and also as a talent. And who falls behind, they actually lag behind in all these aspects and ultimately lose the business and also the brand equity. This means for enterprises, aligning business strategies with these sustainability goals is rapidly shifting from a nice to have initiatives to an existential imperative. So why now we know that why these initiatives matters for an organization. It seems like all the organizations are already on it. So here there are some examples from the leading industry giants like GSK, Johnson and Johnson's, Novartis, etc., where they are already working on these climate goals. Almost all of them have got ambition to become net zero either by 2040 or 45. All of them are working towards reducing their carbon and water footprints. They're working towards getting more renewable source of energies and so on and so forth. So these are goals from the GSK and Johnson and Johnson. There are more from Novartis, Unilever, and last but not least, we as a Reckitt, we are also committing ourselves to these goals by trying to become net zero by 2040, trying to become water positive by 2030, and there are other associated goals. Now we know that all these enterprises, how really they are engaged and they're committed to these goals. Let us see further how these organizations are doing it, how they are mapping out their sustainability profile of the product. So every product has a vast environmental footprint that spans its entire life cycle, from the extraction of the raw materials to its production, transportation to the consumer, usage by the consumer, and ultimately disposing or recycling. This is where the life cycle assessment or LCA method provides immense value. This method allows us to quantify the ecological impacts associated with each phase of the product life cycle by taking a holistic cradle to grave approach. On the upstream sides, the LCA looks at the impact of activity like mining, forestry, and oil and extraction to the sources to source the raw materials. It then maps the energy and the water usage, emissions, and the waste generated during the manufacturing and the assembly processes. As we move downstream, it evaluates the mode and distance of the product distribution through the transportation and logistic modeling. It also considers the use phase, for example, the electricity consumed in powering an electronic device over its lifetime. Finally, the LCA captures the end of life stage, quantifying the impacts from recycling, composting, landfilling, or incineration of the discarded product or its packaging. With this comprehensive life cycle inventory data, this method can then characterize and quantify impacts across the areas like climate change, ecosystem quality, human health effects, and resource depletion. With these insights, business can pinpoint environmental hotspots and implement targeted strategies, whether it's sustainable sourcing, cleaner production methods, optimized logistics, product lightweighting, or designing for the recyclability. So in a sense, it is quintessential tool for the enterprises striving to develop more environmentally conscious product and solution. So with this kind of mapping of the sustainability profile, all these big consumer giants companies, they are coming up with the products both from the upstream and downstream side of their products life cycle, impacting the having the positive impact on the earth with their sustainability initiatives. Some of the examples to quote from the downstream side, and it is worth note that the upstream side of the life cycle initiatives where there is more involvement of the raw material sourcing and the supply chain involved, they are more complex than the downstream one. Here we are discussing the downstream initiatives, which are relatively easier and quicker to identify and implement. Some of the examples like Unilever, Reckitt launching the product with the uh, less plastic content or recycled plastic, to some of the companies like EcoWare, who is opting for the refill packs. You might have seen all these shops coming up with the refill station for all the daily use product. Also, companies they are going for the completely paper-based packaging for even the liquid products. There are initiatives by cosmetics company like Lush who are offering waterless product, for example, the bars for bathing products and shampoos, to dishwashing products where the innovations are driving less water usage in the dishwashing cycle by avoiding the rinsing. Finish is one of the products sold by Reckitt, who is claiming to reduce the rinsing cycle in a dishwasher, hence reducing the water usage in the dishwashing cycle. Although it is relatively complex, but companies are putting their investments in some upstream initiatives as well, by reducing the direct power consumption, by opting renewable source of energy, or improving their energy efficiency, also reducing indirect emission through sustainable use of material and circular economy. There are many examples from Novartis, GSK, and Reckitt where they are implementing all these strategies. Novartis alone, they have implemented a process of consolidating the shipment to their clinical trial, where they claim to reduce the or save approximately 1400 tons of carbon dioxide annually just by optimizing their shipping of the products in their clinical trials. Reckitt, on the other hand, they have been installing lots of in their factories the solar panel to opt the renewable source of energy, and they have already done for their 14 of their world sites. And similar examples are there from the GSK as well, where they are investing huge amounts in getting the renewable sources of the energy applied in their operation. Now, as we know how the businesses, these all giants are increasingly recognize the importance of the environmental and the social responsibility. Many of them are grappling with the significant hurdles in their sustainability journey. Let us outline some of the major challenges these companies are facing. First, there is often limited awareness and expertise around the sustainability within the organizations. Many lack the specialized knowledge required to effectively measure, manage, and reduce their environmental footprint. Secondly, the inherent complexity of the sustainability can lead to the resistance to change. Global corporations with the vast, intricate supply chain networks and the large-scale operation can find it extraordinarily difficult to implement these strategies smoothly. There is also from the government side a huge hurdle in terms of ever-changing regulations. Um, lack of its standardization in the reporting metrics, and also harmonized remote reporting frameworks that creates really major obstacles in the company's sustainable efforts. With a multitude of disclosure requirements, metrics, and sustainability ratings, these all companies struggle to determine the right strategy and communicate their progress to the stakeholders. The financial cost also plays a role here, and it's also a major challenge because it requires a lot of investment to deploy and upgrade the facilities, deploy the technologies, and also deploy the resources to get these initiatives done, especially in this current scenario of huge economic volatility, which really constraining the budgets. So it is also difficult because most of these initiatives are unproven. So as a business, securing investment for these unproven initiatives is very much challenging. Moreover, the depletion of the critical natural resources like water, forests, and mineral, it poses a fundamental risk to the business continuity. And this is making the transition to more sustainable world really, really difficult. Finally, there are ever-rising sustainability expectations from consumers, investors, activists, and the regulators. So these company faces relentless scrutiny, pressure to continuously enhance their environmental and social performance every year. That means it is very clear that the road to the comprehensive sustainability is filled with lots and lots of hurdles. Now let us see that how these organizations can overcome some of these hurdles, because these are interconnected challenges. But to overcome these organization requires to adopt a long-term holistic approach backed by committed leadership and strategic collaborations. Let's see one by one. More committed leadership, which means it is really key to drive the sustainability throughout the organizations. The leaders who is committed to the sustainability, they are good in allocating the adequate resources, budget, and they can embed it into their core business strategy and create a necessary top-to-down momentum. Collaboration. Increased collaboration and partnership is also really crucial. By working with the industries, suppliers, NGOs, communities, government organizations, we can share knowledge, align on the standards, and leverage collective resources to scale the sustainability efforts. Investment. Directing more and more investment towards these initiatives is very critical, because it will these kind of investments make the product more affordable, attract the businesses to tap the markets, and eventually creates an economy where they will have more money to invest back in upgrading the facility, which will lead to more sustainability and eventually making a positive climate impact. As we close out our discussion, um, I'm reminded of this powerful quote from Robert Swan, who was a polar explorer and environmentalist. He says, "The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it." It speaks to the core of why these sustainability efforts matter so deeply, because the responsibility to shape a better future for our planet and our people lies with each and every one of us. So, as you leave here today, I encourage you to reflect on the role you and your organization can play to advance the goals of the sustainability. I thank you for having patience of listening me. I'm leaving my email ID here, and I welcome anyone who would like to connect and discuss this topic further. Thank you once again, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your session.